this is the Halloween quest. We decided to use the assets we used for the clans as an occasion as a chance to show free players all the new stuff we've done with the clans, which is actually the best content we have released so far, I think. Even though some really nice stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, what we do now at this point is doing some mood studies of the new era. So we draw different versions, different palettes, different colors for different shapes of what will eventually go in game. We show this to designers and check whether what we do fits with the mood and the feel they wanted to convey. Yeah, so environments are usually the first thing we do. These are the mood studies, indoors. As you can see, we chose this combination of purples and blue, so these cold colors that fit with the Halloween scary situation. After environments, we start drawing the characters. We focus on environments first because it's obviously easier to convey a certain mood with big things, so with buildings and colors, large areas, rather than themes like characters you may or may not encounter. So this is the update we made on Death, which was okay, but was quite dated now. This is Frank. Dave, the concept artist you might have seen before, who do this concept, made some version of this character, because basically he needed to come up with this awkward character, maybe a bit clumsy, because as you might know, he was like a normal guy who was taken by the Four Horsemen to complete the 5 players required to open a new clan. So he actually found himself in this odd situation. So I think he did a great job, because he actually looked quite clumsy. This is Fame. Dave actually acted out this character, and then he had to cover his face with this mask. We actually achieved a sexy look she was supposed to have with animation, so we actually paused the character in order to have this look. This is just a recoloring of an old character, so we needed to have basically to style an existing priest of Sanadomin with more Halloween combination of color. So this is one of the things we do quite often, which is having to adapt some existing assets to a different situation, which implies, of course, recoloring. This is Django, another character in the quest. Again, the pose is really important in this situation. Also, you might notice that he has many objects hanging from his belt, and that would imply he's carrying things around. He's kind of jack of the trade. He's a guy that gives you stuff, basically. You can see from the back. This is one thing we do quite often, to give players this idea. This is an old character. You might have seen in other Halloween quests. Again, it needed to be adapted, and it had to fit into the new situation. Again, I think they did a pretty good job in making this funny-looking character, DJ Spider. This again an old character, restyled for this quest. And this is I don't know if you have noticed it, this is an update on the really dated dwarves we're using in-game. we don't know yet if there'll be other dwarves in game, but if they will, they will look like that. I think this looks pretty good. This is one of the statues that appear in game. Again, we just sketched these things and that will be posed by animators and put in game that have been used. These are clan assets we styled for this quest. So basically we took existing objects and made them look like Halloween. That was it. So this is the process we normally use. So environments, characters, small objects. Once we're finished, we pass on our drawings to animators, to modelers that actually turn these drawings into 3D objects. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Luke and I am an environment modeler for RuneScape. I've been with RuneScape for nearly a year and a half now, and some of like the quests that I've worked on include Lumbridge Swamp update, which was the first environment I worked on when I joined the company. As well that I've helped with the tree updates that have been going out recently, clans, and of course Halloween 11. And pretty much these are things I'm going to be talking about today, and just generally give an idea of what we do. Okay, here is just a few images of Halloween for anybody who hasn't played it. It's been set on the Clan Islands because we thought that was, as Paolo said, it was some of the new content and which was only available to members originally, and we thought it'd be quite nice for all the free players to have a look and see them as well, get a chance to see them. That's another image there. Okay. So I'm going to take you through the stages that we go through of going from the concept that we got from Paolo and taking some of the very intricate and extravagant concepts that they do and converting them into something that we can use in game. We usually start off with blocking out the area using a series of placeholders. So we've got blue here for the walls, red is for squares that will be blocks the player can't walk in, and then we have other ones like the yellow ones there that will sort of tell you, they'll be sort of quest related, so they have to be there, they can't move unless talking to content first. When we start building things, we build them as kits, which are set in a 1x1 grid square. You can see the floor there is set up into a grid. It's, when we model, we use 3D Studio Max, which is a sort of commercial application that you can get, and we also use Jagged, which is the environment here, which is our in-house tool that is really good at doing what we need it to do. It's a very fun thing to use, and it does its job really well. So like this here is a wall kit, and same for walls. We'll have a straight piece, we'll have corners, we'll have maybe low and high walls, sections with windows and things. So we start off by making the one basic piece that you can see there, and we have to make sure that it fits in the grid nicely, and both sides of the model are exactly the same, so that when we tile them next to each other, they will fit together. And as soon as they fit together, we know that any other piece we make for this kit will fit with it as well. Here you can see this is one of the clan citadels, one of the Halloween that has the all the wireframe overlay on there, so you can see how it is split up vertically and along with the floor, so that all the kit pieces are just 1 by 1 square, so we know that they all fit together however we want to do them. This is the environment we use to place down all the models and things we made and build the world. This is Map Editor, which is our in-house tool for the world building. Over on the left we've got the sort of the map view. In the middle there we've got sort of a list of all the models we can select, the mini-map, and then general other information about the models. And on the right we've got the 3D view, which will give us a good representation of what it's going to look like in-game. This is the only way that we can get the environments made, so it's the key tool. We couldn't make the environments without it. Because the clan's island we used as a base point for the Halloween, we took a lot of the models that we'd already made and gave them a nice Halloween theme, which sort of brought them more in line with what the concept has given us. And it was so that it still looked like clans, but it just had a very nice Halloween theme and a lot more atmosphere. This is the clan island when we started, exactly how the players see it if they have a normal clan. And we go ahead and we place down all the new pieces that we've made, all the themed pieces, like we've changed the portal there to have the red aura, which was blue before, and added the cobwebs and things on there, and changed like the waterfall to be a blood waterfall. Then we go in and we add all the extra bits and pieces like the signs and things which weren't there before, and because we made the path a set of gravestones, we thought we'd have a few extra there as well just to add to it. We changed all the clan logos to the DEFCON 2 logo, and sort of changed the tents as well to carry on this sort of the colour, which was purple, which was sort of the theme really. And this is the final square. We've gone in, we've added the lighting, sort of made the fog a lot denser, and of course made it night because it's Halloween and it's a bit spookier. That way we can add a lot more extra point lights and things to add extra interest to areas. Places like, there are areas that have lots of pumpkins, so we've added extra lights there, so it draws your attention and this just gives it a lot more interest. And there we go, that is everything from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. I believe we have Zoltan now, who's a character modeller on the Halloween project. So I'll leave you in his capable hands.
Hello everybody, enjoying RuneFest so far? Yeah. Can't hear you. Okay, my name is Zoltan. I joined Jagex as a junior character artist about 1.5 years ago, and yeah, well, everything started. Let me talk about myself a little. So I started playing computer games since I know about myself. So I started very early. When I got my first computer, it was just no standing back. I'm a massive gamer, and I grew up on playing games like Doom, Nukem, and Carmageddon. I'm pretty sure that you guys played those games as well, Command & Conquer, and all the big legendary titles. And yeah, I always had this hobby to draw and just create stuff. And one day I just realized that I could maybe get into the game industry somehow. And yeah, one day I just applied to Jagex, and I was there. So it was really nice day. One of the best days in my life, because it's just awesome to be a part of this company. Seriously. So yeah, since I joined Jagex, I worked on hundreds of projects and made thousands of models for all the quests and environment and everything. And now I will just lead through the pipeline that we use at Jagex, and we will tell you about the softwares and basically just how we make characters and how you get to see them in the game when you launch RuneScape. Okay. so that's the first thing that we get to see when we've been told about a model we have to model. Usually we get a brief from content developer guys, and they just give us the information what type of character they need, like in details how big it should be, what's the use of the character, can players talk with the character, interact with it, and then the constructors, those lovely guys, like you heard Paolo at the beginning, they make a concept most of the time. Sometimes we just have to work on our own and just come up with something, but most of the time we get concepts like you can see Beauty here. She was the model I did for Halloween, and she isn't the most interesting and the prettiest model in Halloween, but I just didn't want to spoil the quest for those who haven't played it so far. So yeah, that's the concept we got, and as a modeler, as a character modeler, you have to take a good look at it. You have to figure out how you start modeling a character. The way we do things in the RuneScape graphics team, we usually have templates for a kind of characters like creatures, humanoids, and well, everything basically, demons. And as you can see, this statue was made out of a human character. As you can see, we start with a humanoid. Can we get the first video started? Cheers. So those are the template humans we use at RuneScape. We use them for NPCs and for player kits as well. So as you can see, they're quite nicely detailed, and you can see some morphing going around. Mainly you can see it on the tummy part of the male character. That's how we manipulate the models just to get them into shape. Like you could see Frank, the beefy guy for Halloween. Yeah, he got through that kind of process to get his shape. Can we get back to the features? Thanks. And that's the surface I work with. Jagex is just a mass of buttons and panels and everything. Yeah, I use this chaos to create characters, and you can see the coloring part here. And basically, we just have the model in the center. When we don't have a template for the character we're gonna model, we just use primitives like cubes, spheres, and just basic shapes. Anyway, guys, any of you planning to get into the game industry, or any of you have? Oh, we have a few. That's really good. That's really good. I guess you guys model and use 3D Studio Max and softwares like that. No? But you should start. You should start working on those skills. So yeah, so we start with a basic shape and then just build up the model. And I didn't have to do that because we had the human base files, so we just had to modify them to get it into the shape of Beauty. So I started with this female model, and after just a few hours, I got the model into this shape. As you can see, as it builds up from polygons, you can see the surface, and it's quite detailed, and it has everything on it what we have on the concept. Yeah, that's the first phase when you get the model done in 3 dimension, and the next step is to get some colors on it. So that's the second stage. When you have colors, it's not too visible because she's a statue. So she's supposed to be look like some kind of something, just sculpted out of stone. And the way you see it in game, you don't have this orange thing going on her body. It's just plain grey, and I just added that color to make it more exciting for you. So the next step is to get the textures on the surface. So it's not too visible, but I will switch back and forth to make you see that, for example, this part, you can see that the textures got on, and it just looks more grounded to the ground, so it blends into the environment. And if you take a look at the hair, for example, you can see that the texture helps a lot to get details in. Yeah, so that's the second, I mean the third base when we have the textures and the colors and everything on. And yeah, you can see the chat head while I made it. Usually when we have a character in a game, you have, if you can interact with a character, you can talk with it, or she can talk with you. We usually make a chat head for the NPCs, and that's basically the chat head for the same kind of pipeline I used on the body model. I got the head done first, and then I got some colors in it, and then finally I got the textures, and so it looks much better than just without textures. She's a bit creepy looking, but I think that goes well with Halloween. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it for me. If you have any kind of questions after this session, you will be able to catch me anywhere in the building. Just look for the Z on the back, and you will find me. Okay, and the next one is
Brad again.
our friendly animator.
Hello. Well,
Oops.
Oh, we got. Oh, you got.
That.
twice in a row. You guys all hear me?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it seems to be on now.
Great. Okay, so I'm Brad. I've been an animator on RuneScape for about a year and a half now. I've animated tons of crazy stuff. As a few guys probably heard in their last talk, I've animated jelly cubes running and squids in bowls and massive demons and little puppies and tons of stuff like that. I got into animation because I absolutely love it. Like the idea of starting with nothing, absolutely nothing, and then just ending with something that's alive is just like, how can you not love that? So it's amazing for me. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how we animate in RuneScape and at Jagex, because it's slightly different to how we animate in, or how you would animate in a different company, or in films, for example. So that's me, model B. Okay, so I like to start off, and our whole team likes to start off by looking at the concept, and then looking at the description that's given to us by the content developers. And this allows us to really sort of distill what this character is all about, and it allows us to come up with a really strong ready or idle pose, and I just get the ideas flowing for how this character would move, how this character would hold themselves. This painting that we got from Paolo was just fantastic. It was already done for us. This pose is pretty much defines his character. But we did have a little think about other references we could look at, and we were thinking one that jumped out at me was Jessica Rabbit. I think that as an animator, I tend to think animated characters, but Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit is just something that I was looking at. I'm going to talk to you all about Fame, by the way, because she is a very interesting character. So we start by getting the model from Zoltan's modelling team. This is it on the far left in the wireframe. You've seen a little of that from what Zoltan was showing you, so I won't go on too much about that. And then we've got the fully textured coloured version. Then after that we've got the labelled version. What I have to do before I can animate is make a rig. for these characters, which is a kind of digital puppet that allows me to move them around and make what we call key poses, key frames. I have to label every single individual piece of this character which needs to move independently. So we have labels for upper arm, lower arm, leg, foot, hair 1, 2, 3 if we need the hair to sort of flow. So yeah, that's why you can see just white all over the screen at that point, because there's just so many different labels that need to go onto that character. As we zoom in closer and closer, you can see a little more detail of what's going on in the face there. In our new human characters, we're looking to put a lot of detail into the face. You'll see even more in the future. This particular character had eyebrow controls that we were able to use to just push expressions, a jaw, fully working jaw, and blinkable eyes, which is just, it might sound pretty boring to you, but to us at Jagex it's just such a massive improvement. More stuff we're looking to put in the future are, which you should see in upcoming quests, things like movable sort of irises. So characters can actually look around now, they're not constantly got that blank stare forwards. And other little things like that, which will just really bring these guys to life. So after labelling the character, we have to rig them. And I won't go into the process of rigging because it's very long and very complicated. It probably needs a whole hour lecture by itself. But this is the final rig. And as you can see, it's kind of like a skeleton. It's blue skeleton that you can see here, and we just sort of twist these limbs around and set up some key poses, which are just exactly as I say, a key pose. So for example, here, and then the computer system tweets between these key poses, and I'll show you a little bit more about tweening and key poses in just a second. There's me trying to be Fame. I kind of regret putting that in now, but that's me trying to get into the character. That's something we do quite a lot. We've recently got video reference room, which is something like for an animator that's really exciting, to be able to film yourself, just put yourself in these characters' shoes, and just for the very subtle stuff, like when I look at a picture like this, which I've took of myself posing like a woman holding a cigarette, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the way my hips are. I'm looking at where my weight falls compared to like how my leg is underneath the rest of my body, how far my arm is out, and you know how that affects my weight and balance. So those are just little subtle things which I need to look at just to make these characters convincing when you see them in game. We tend to sketch out some poses, which these are our key poses, key frames, and these are some. We keep them very like scruffy and just quick to get down on paper. If you spend too long on a drawing, you tend to get attached to it and you don't want to move away from that. But the idea is to just keep drawing, coming up with new ideas, and once you find something that you're happy with, keep drawing, and then just come back to whatever's the best idea and try and get that working in the tool. And this is the tool. This is Jagged's animator tool. It's pretty complicated looking, and it's pretty complicated to use really. All these you can see along the bottom here, they are frames or key frames, some of them. The red ones, I mean, we can colour our frames, which is very handy. I won't go into the technicalities too much, but you'll be able to see here, these red ones tend to be key frames, and then we break it down and try and get the movement looking as smooth as possible. All this stuff on the right-hand side is where things get really technical, so we're going to try and concentrate on the left-hand side of the screen and just show you how we pose a character. So if we can have a look at the first video, please. So this is just a quick example of me posing Fame.
All players, the pub quiz will commence in the Hereford pub at 3 p.m.
In a kind of like, sort of like a sexy pose. this was completely off the cuff,
And
just for RuneScape. RuneFest,
based
sorry.
on the boat level of the building.
I reckon that's it.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So yeah, this was just for RuneFest. I was just playing with the pose to show you guys how we use the joints and how we use the animator tool. So I wouldn't recommend animating this way, but I had no idea where I was going with this, to be honest. So you might see me put our arm in one pose and then change it back. Normally we wouldn't do that, but sometimes we do. I mean, like sometimes you're animating and you go, actually, you know, this feels a bit better over here. Maybe she should twist her arm slightly so we can get a better line of action through the body and a stronger silhouette for the character. I'm just going to let this video play through because hopefully you guys will find this interesting and be able to see a bit more about what we do to get our characters looking good. All this effort that's going in now to pose this character is just for one of our frames. So this is some of the facial stuff, controls that you can see here. So rotating eyebrows, moving the jaw around slightly. You can see the vertices of the model sort of jumping around slightly. That's because we work in a sort of lower resolution in our game, and that's to keep everything as efficient as possible. So it's really a testament to Zoltan and his modelling team that they can get such high detail, such quality meshes on like a lower resolution engine. But yeah, this is all this work just goes into one key pose, and of course we have to make way more than one. We have to make potentially hundreds of poses to get a really nice looking animation. So now I'm about to start working with the weight of her character, making sure she's got a good grounding on the floor. Sometimes we bend joints in ways which aren't maybe humanly possible, but it'll get, if it helps the silhouette, if it helps the way the character looks, sometimes it's worth it. Okay, so this is Fame, looking much more confident and much more sexy than she did like that. So that's obviously sped up loads. That took me a lot longer than that to get into that pose. There you go. I think we've got some more videos if we can show those, and I'll just talk to you a little bit about some of the animations we did for Halloween. If I have.
Yeah, there should be 2 more on there.
Oh, we'll talk about Fame. This is the just the blocked out poses. So this is what I was talking about, where we might have to make up to hundreds of poses. In this particular case, it obviously wasn't that many. But this is very jumpy at this stage, and it's pose, pose, pose. And you can see the key poses where she's turned to one side, turned to the other, picking up a cigarette and blowing outwards. If we can see the next video, that'll be when the between is added. And this is where the computer works out what happens in between those key poses. We get to see the finished animation. Yeah, that's pretty much how it's done. I'll just hand you back to Andy, who's going to wrap us up.
Well, I think we've got like a little bit of time now, so if anyone has any questions they want to fire at the guys, then please, Mr. Barker, your services are required. So hands up, who wants a question? Guy, yeah, Hanley, the guy you're next to.
Lord Olbin, did you fall in love with your character?
What was the question, sorry?
Do you fall in love with your characters?
With that one, yeah.
The gentleman sat next to him?
While making the poses, would you like to have IK solvers?
That's a fantastic question. I'd absolutely love to have IK solvers. as you can see, if you know anything about animation, you know that I didn't have it, and our software, due to like engine limitations, doesn't allow for that. But hopefully, knowing that now, you'll go back and play RuneScape, and you'll just be like, wow, how did these guys do it without IK? Because we don't know how we do it without IK.
Yeah, I think it's like a testament to these guys to say that they are forced to do these animations without the luxury of having IK. It's something that we want to work towards, but I mean, quite frankly, I think that the way that the approach that they use at the moment, having to do everything by hand, I think just makes them better animators basically, because they get to they don't have to rely on sort of like technology doing a lot of things for them. They actually have to think about what they're doing. So it's a lot more like old school animation sort of thing, just doing everything they just say by brute force basically. So yeah, so it's a real testament to these guys for the quality of the animations they turn out by using these sort of like kind of like old fashioned methods basically. Yes, next if we work our way down to this chap here. Oh, sorry, have you got someone there already? Yes.
Who are we to thank for the new water graphics? Because they're amazing.
Well, that's been a long, torturous story. We kept on being this water shader has been around for quite a while, but there were problems actually getting the tools aspect of it working. So for quite a while actually, we've had these wonderful water graphics in the work in progress version that we have of our game, but because we haven't easily been able to like configure it and alter it to different situations, we couldn't release it. The engine team have also got their own priorities. This was kind of like quite low down on their list to fix, but now we've actually managed to find some time. They've implemented the actual tool side of it. And I mean, it's interesting to say that, because I mean, the water graphics are by no means actually finished at the moment. We're going to add more quality, more fidelity, more configurations to it. So you should see more and more improvements coming over the months, basically. So down here for this chap here, he's been waiting patiently.
Are there free software packages that do some things like the modelling and animation that we can get into without paying for?
Yeah, there's a program called Blender, which is, I think it's also Java based as well. I'm pretty sure that's what Jagged was actually based on. So that, if you're looking to work at Jagex, then that would be a great start.
There is another one called Sculptris, if you ever heard about it. It's made by the guys who made ZBrush. So it's a really good free software, so you can just sculpt around, and if you get something done, you can just port it to 3D Studio Max, and you can have a pretty good high-def model.
Yeah, I think a lot of these packages actually have like learning editions. I know that Maya has a learning edition that is basically free. It's like a complete solution. But when you, for example, render things out, it puts a watermark on saying this is the trial version, basically. So there are a lot of options that you can use to for animation and modelling. Like they're all either free or relatively inexpensive. I mean, of course, once you get into it and you want to buy the full package, that's where they really make their money, basically. But yeah, there are plenty of options for you for that's like free and like quite inexpensive solutions to actually like get started along this road. Any more questions? Was this? Oh, sorry.
We see many upgrades to weapons and such, the graphic of course. Are there any more upgrades planned for them, or the generic armors of the game?
We are constantly looking to, we have like a continuous program of improvement. We keep on looking at areas, we nominate areas, items, etc. that we want to update. We have to analyse the impact of this work, because we say, for example, updating basic armours. There are a lot of combinations that people wear together. They might like use a breastplate from one set, a pair of leggings from another sort of thing. So we need to make sure that these things are very, very carefully thought out. So even though people may mix and match things, that they actually work together, they don't intersect, and this kind of stuff will look a bit weird. Sometimes these will they will look okay, but then when you start animating, they'll start intersecting, clipping, and this kind of stuff. One of the things that we would like to do at some point in the future is take a look at the actual player base that we use, and come up with a system so we have complete configurability and exchangeability between a new set of updated armours. As I say, these are very, very initial early stages we're talking about at the moment, so I mean, I can't promise you'll see anything next week, next month, or I mean, maybe not even until next year or beyond sort of thing, but it's definitely something we want to look into. There are also some considerations we have to bear in mind, because if we update the very low base armour, and then we might get complaints from people saying, hey, this new stuff, free stuff that free-to-play players get, it looks absolutely fantastic. This stuff I've spent years getting, like high-end, still looks quite sort of old and dated sort of thing. So again, it's a case of like, we have to like agree on a balance of which ones we're going to update, when we're going to update them basically. But yeah, it's definitely something that's on our mind. I know that Pascal, our art director, is very, very keen on updating all this stuff, isn't he? This gentleman here with the camera.
Hello, Mark has given us a hint on an update that's coming to our own character, modeling wise. Can you give us a few leaks on what is going to come?
Oh, can I? Well, as I say, one of the things that we'd like to do is add more detail to characters, so that the range of motion and movements is a lot more fluid, a lot more flexible. As I say, this will also, if we, for example, begin to add more joints to various parts of the body, that means there's more flexibility, more motion, and of course that will have to be reflected. Again, it's kind of linked to your question as well, because that will also have an impact on, say for example, we put extra bones in the spine, then the character can actually start doing this. Then we have to think, right, how is that going to affect the existing armour? So then we have to think about, oh, we've updated the actual base, we have to update the actual armour, but of course, we have to think about the animation aspects of that. So it is like a very, very long, drawn-out process of a lot of careful planning. I mean, we've got 10 years worth of content that we have to bear in mind. Doing like any sort of improvement that we don't like it negatively impacts too much or at all if we can help it. But I think these are the sort of things that Mark has been hinting at, that we want to try and give like a lot more fluid motion, a lot more flexibility and this kind of stuff for the player characters, because the more natural these characters look, then the more the players will actually connect with their characters. I mean, like, that's actually me rather than some sort of like robotic character sort of thing. That's actually me that's playing the game sort of thing. So I think that's what Mark was hinting at.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Gentleman here on the front.
Hello. What features do you have in the Jagex graphics tools that you can't get in off-the-shelf software?
I think it's more the way that the engine functions. Of course, I mean, obviously we have a lot of limitations laid on us because we use like a browser-based client. It's a Java-based client, so although PCs are pretty powerful these days, there are still sort of like performance-bound limitations that we have to adhere to. So there's, I mean, the tools were written to exploit the features that we had at the time. We had to be very, very sort of like conservative with what we wanted to do. Now that we